making the survey to send to all of the roommates that I lived with before. I just don't know what to name it. And then they were roommates. First question, I think I'm gonna just say like, what is your name? On a scale of 1 to 10, how much did you enjoy living with me? What would be like the worst thing ever? Like the worst roommate ever? Just put roommate from hell. All the way to, it was a blessing. Still wish we lived together. Best decision I ever made. I cried when you left. On a scale of 1 to 10.
How messy was I?
I feel like 1 needs to be really dirty. So like,
it was a sea of stuff.
Never saw the floor.
The floor did not exist.
All the way to,
what is the squeak? Mr. Clean would be proud.
oh, what's the scrub daddy level? Funniest story of us living together. And I think I should do, what's the weirdest thing of mine you ever found?
You might get some weird answers with that one.
So our total questions are, what is your name? When did we live together? Where/how would you describe our living area? On a scale of 1 to 10, how much did you enjoy living with me? Why? On a scale of 1 to 10, how messy was I? What is the weirdest thing of mine that I kept/you saw/you found? What is the funniest story of us living together? What terms are we on now? On a scale from 1 to 10, how awkward is this? Would you live with me again? Were you ever in a video of mine? Describe your experience if you said yes/fave/worst memory. Anything else you'd like to say to my YouTube viewers?
That is great. Okay, we're sending it off.
I got 11 responses to my survey, which I don't even remember how many I sent it to. I think maybe like 13, and I got 11 to respond, which is pretty impressive. I will say some of them were my family members, so take that as you will. That's me. The very first response I got was from Rylan, my sister. Which you guys are gonna be like, what? That's not her roommate, but we lived together. Rylan said, when did we live together? My entire life. True that, except for recently when she moved to college. Where did we live? We lived in Utah and Texas, and she described it as chaotic. I said, how much did you enjoy living with me? She put a 9. She said, why? Pretty good. -1, because sometimes you were moody from the ages of 15 to 17. That is so true. That is true. It's true. But ditto. On a scale of 1 to 10, how messy was I? She put me right at a 5. What is the weirdest thing of mine that I kept/you saw/you found?
No.
She said, love letters from my boyfriend in high school. I did probably, I don't even know if they were love letters as much as they were just like, no notes. What's the funniest story of us living together? She said, me throwing your computer against the wall because you were mad I was playing on it and chased me around the house.
I forgot about that.
She did throw my computer in an attempt to not get in trouble for having my computer. I said, would you live with me again? She said, sure, good time.
She did not put 1,000% yes.
Of course she didn't. She's too cool for me. She's in college now. I said, were you ever in a video of mine? She said, yes. I said, describe your experience. She said, I feel like this question doesn't apply to me.
I didn't know what to put for mine either. I was like, how did I respond to that? I'm in every single one of these videos.
Then I said, anything else you'd like to say to my viewers? She said, hey Slay, it's Rylan. Wow.
Thanks, Rylan.
Okay, number 2 is from my college roommate, Bethany Johnson.
Bethany!
You guys know Bethany.
Love you, Bethany! You guys, she is the best.
You guys love Bethany.
You guys love Bethany.
I said, when did we live together? She said, sophomore year
of college.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how much did you enjoy living with me? She put a 10. She put cry. So far, I'm killing it. I'm killing it. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much did you enjoy living with me? She said 10. I said, why? She said, you're so supportive of all my endeavors and we're always up for spontaneous adventures. You laughed with me, cried with me when I needed you.
We love you, Bethany.
Said, on a scale of 1 to 10, how messy was I? She put 9. So I was very clean. Okay, just to preface this, 1 was really dirty and 10 was really clean. I feel like everyone got confused by that. She put me as a 9, so I was very clean. I will say, she did text me afterwards and said, I would have put you at a 10, but you did mop the floors every day. You weren't like at that level. What is the weirdest thing of mine that I kept? She said, the deer urine. When we found it before the video and you and Bailey said you brought it to spray on our beds because you didn't want to give the video away.
I forgot about that. We bought this on Amazon. It's called Harmon's Dough Pea. It smells so bad.
What's the funniest story of us living together? When we all got ringworm from those stray cats, then we went on a trip and we all still had ringworm scars, so we had to cover them in the most out-of-pocket ways.
I put that story too. Like, it is ingrained in my brain.
We totally did have really, like, crazy stories in that house, because we had stray cats and we did get ringworm from them. What terms are we on now? She said, great terms, bestie. besties. I said on a scale of 1 to 10, how awkward is this? She said 1. Nah, bro, just chill. Would you live with me again? 1,000% yes, I'm in love with you. Yay! Were you ever in a video of mine? She said yes. To describe your experience. She said the Thanksgiving wrap, send help. All other experiences were great. Honestly, that one was fun, but to film, but I can never watch that video again or I will cringe so hard.
I watch that video probably every couple of months because it's so funny.
Anything else you'd like to say? She said, hey, missed y'all, moved to Ireland, be back soon.
She lives in Ireland now.
Yeah, she
She's
does.
honestly killing it.
She is, she's living her best
International queen.
life. Living her best life. Number 3, Rachel. So she was my roommate in Utah. We actually were friends before, moved in together when I moved to Utah. Where did we live? How would you describe it? She said the cutest little townhouse. We had the prettiest view of the mountains for sure. And she said, screw the landlord.
They did not have a good landlord.
No, they suck. Bad. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much did you enjoy living with me? She said 9. I said why? She said you're literally an angel and loved being around you. You're the kind of roommate everyone wishes for. A 9 because Finn pooped in my room like 3 times. So I guess 10 out of 10 for you and 9 out of 10 for Finn. In his defense, okay, that townhouse was a little complicated and
There were like
I was
3
in school
floors,
a
right?
lot,
And
and
it
so
was
I
hard to-
understand why he may have had bathroom problems. Also, her room when she inherited it smelled like dog pee, which I think made him want.
Definitely contributes to that.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how messy was I? She put me at a 7. That's true. Listen, phases of life. College I was really clean. Utah, I
You
was
two are so messy.
more dirty.
Yeah, you were
because
so messy.
I was not so. You visited me
When I
once.
came and
What's the weirdest thing of mine that I kept? She said the pan that sat on our balcony for months because I think something got burned. Actually, that was Dakota's pan. Terms are we on now? Good terms. I miss you. Can I come visit? Yes.
Yeah, come visit.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how awkward is this? She said, nah, but I should chill. Would you agree to live with me again? 100,000% yes, I'm in love with you. Yay! Were you ever in a video of mine? Yes. Describe your experience. We went to Hawaii. Such a fun time. We went on that super long hike for a solid mile, then turned around. I daydream about that secret beach literally all the time.
Me too.
of walking uphill in the cold with wet feet, no food. I'm gonna have a water bottle.
Anything else you'd like to say? She said, if you were in a mac and cheese eating competition with Brooklyn, you'd lose. That's true. All right, number 4 is Camry. Of course, again, I lived with her for a long time. I said, when did we live together? She said, like 10 years ago. JK. I guess from ages 0 to 16 of my life. Where did we live? Arizona, Missouri, Utah, Texas. Never shared a room, but we had vents in the floor that connected, if that counts.
We used to shout messages in them to each
We would
other.
play I Spy at night. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much did you enjoy living with me? 10!
Camry.
She said, why? Because I lost 2 sisters at once.
That actually breaks my heart. That is so sad.
But 5, true. What are the weirdest things of mine that I kept? 3 words, majestic dance bag. True.
That thing reeked. Brooklyn never ever bothered to wash the clothes, so they just sat in that bag and smelled like sweat.
What is the funniest story of us living together? Tying your eyelashes in a knot.
I forgot about
This is a
that.
good story. One time, somehow I had a strand of hair. Don't ask me the science or physics on this, but it got stuck in my eyelashes, and when I tried to pull it out, it tied a knot around my eyelash, like a chunk of my eyelashes. Explain to me how you're supposed to get that out. What terms are we on now? We're family. Do I count for this question? On a scale of 1 to 10, how awkward is this? Nah, bruh, it's chill. Would you live with me again? Sure, good times. Oh, she didn't put 1,000? Rude. Were you ever in a video of mine? Yes. Describe your experience. I'm glad I was not in the holiday rap battle.
We're back to the holiday rap battle.
Also remember when we filled our pool with 12 million Orbeez? That was kind of slay.
We did do that.
That was slay until we had to get rid of the
3, 2, 1, go! Oh my!
They say they're biodegradable, but
They're
those babies took
not.
a long time to biodegrade. That's all I'm saying.
Anything else you'd like to say? Follow me at Camry Noel. Hashtag slay. Hashtag swag. Hashtag cool sister. Okay, next. Oh, okay, so this is Christina. You guys probably know her from some of our videos too. She was our roommate when we lived with Bethany.
So all
back
4
in
of us
college.
were roommates.
When did we live together? 2019 to 2020. Where did we live? How did you describe it? Really nice house right next to a cemetery. Had to hand over ring footage to the police a couple times, but the house itself was super nice. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much did you enjoy living with me? 4. That's fair. Sometimes
not everyone gets along.
It's alright. She said overall wasn't horrible, stopped us off at the end that led to me moving out, but honestly we had so many fun times together, made some of my favorite college memories. I think at the time the two of us just had a lot of growing up to do.
I concur.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how messy was I? 7. I'll take it. I'll take a 7. I feel like that's a good number. What's the weirdest thing of mine you found? Mesh underwear? What the heck was that? I had mesh underwear?
Yeah, you did. You
Was it
had
my
mesh
period underwear?
No, you had like literally like net underwear.
What's the funniest story of us living together? When we did the house swap with Jeffrey Pister's house and we were all so scared for our lives when the lights and the house kept shutting off.
I remember that.
We did. I think we filmed that. We did switch houses with some boys in college and we filmed it if you want to see.
We're trying to break in and get behind the door to turn off the breakers. And then we don't really have a plan past that. Is that where we're stealing their car? We're not gonna steal their car after that.
Tina, your turn.
What terms are we on now? She said, haven't talked to each other since I moved out, but miss y'all sometimes. Super sad not going through these big life changes without y'all like we used to on 7 longer
Aw, sometimes it just happens, but we should
I'll reach out to you, Christina.
hit each other up again.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how awkward is this? 10.
Cringing hard.
Fair enough. Would you live with me again? No, but we're still good. Great.
Understandable.
Were you ever in a video of mine? Yes. Describe your experience. Fave memory was the twin switch because I was so confident, and worst was for sure the TikTok. Anything else you'd like to say to my viewers? Although we had our differences, looking back, I always remember the fun times we had. If y'all are in college or have roommates, understand each other may not be the best fit for you in that season, but it doesn't make them a bad person.
She's completely right.
Amen.
Honestly, sometimes just like roommates are the hardest thing ever to work out because you really can love a person, but just not be compatible in a living situation.
Very interesting.
It's definitely dynamic. If y'all have lived with people, you will totally understand. And honestly, drop some comments below on some experiences y'all have had living with people, good, bad, whatever. I want to hear about them.
You're hearing all mine.
Yes, I want to hear about them too. But we love you, Christina, and thanks for filling out that form, honestly.
Jensen. I lived with Jensen my freshman year of college. She said, freshman year. Oh, when did we live together? Freshman year.
Most of freshman year.
Where did we live? How would you describe our living area? A college dorm, but apartment style. It was very boho, plant-based. Our decor styles are almost identical, so I loved it. One complaint was there was a lot of fur in the living room, and it shed like nobody's business.
It's so true.
I agree, and I did not want the fur.
Cute, and it wasn't real fur. It was like faux fur. So
On a scale of 1 to 10, how much did you enjoy living with me? 4. We were besties most of senior year of high school, but when it came down to it, our living styles were different. Everything down to if you're a night owl or a morning person can cause whether or not you live well with someone. On a scale of 1 to 10, how messy was I? A 3!
Exposed!
That's the worst score I've got!
Thank you! She's a little messier than she thinks she is.
What's the weirdest thing of mine that I kept such you saw and found? She said, I don't know about weird thing you kept, but you did light yourself on fire briefly when you messed around too much with hand sanitizer and a lighter.
Probably. Where was it on purpose?
Again, I would like to throw out the name Jeffrey Pister, who we would play pranks with all the time, and he told me it would be funny, and it was not. We did actually accidentally set me on
College. Dumb. In college.
What terms are we on now? After freshman year, we grew apart and didn't see much of each other for a couple years. Post-graduation, we reconnected and are growing our friendship again. We went on a triple date recently that was super fun.
We did go on a triple date, and it was so much fun.
Very fun.
Yeah, honestly, we were friends all through high school and middle school. Went to college, lived together, kind of went our different ways in college, and then met back up after college, and now we've been friends for like 2 more years.
Happens way more often than you think.
It does
When you
happen.
reconnect with old friends, you're like, wait, we grew up and now we're like really good friends.
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how awkward is this? 2. Wait, would you live with me again? No, but we're still good. That's fair, I am married. Were you ever in a video of mine? Yes. Describe your experience. 5 years later, I still have not gotten over my embarrassment for not noticing you and Bailey switched in a Can You Tell Us Apart video. I still think about it to this day.
What? Who am I? Oh my gosh, fake friend apparently. Whoa.
Anything else you'd like to say to my YouTube viewers? Love your support for the twins, but gal pals, you did me dirty in the fan edits. I don't even know what fan edits there are, but I want to know now.
Fan edits.
I want to know. I sent this to my parents and then told them not to fill it out, but let's see what he said. My dad, when did we live together? In heaven, about 19 years on earth.
Nice, Dad.
What is the weirdest thing of mine that I kept? Dakota?
Is he here? No, I don't know. That is so funny. I'm pretty sure I put the same thing.
Dakota. He's the best thing I ever kept.
He is the best. We love Dakota. My turn!
Oh, great. Let's see her. She's provided enough commentary.
I probably should just leave.
Where did we live? The twin cave was killer, always styled to perfection, but also always messy. We lived together everywhere.
I didn't feel like listing all the places, honestly. I was like, true. We just lived everywhere.
10! You enjoyed living
I literally have a whole video of me bawling my eyes out when you left. I had to put cried when you
Why? Because twins, duh. On a scale of 1 to 10, how messy was I? She put me at a 7. You did not put me at a 5.
See, I didn't rate you that bad.
What's the weirdest thing of mine that I kept? An ex that shall not be named. That's explanatory. What's the funny story of us living together? Too many. Probably when we picked up stray cats and got ringworm. It wasn't funny then, but it is now. Lesson learned.
It was so
It's
bad.
so funny that everyone's like
the
things are the same.
It's so funny.
That's so funny. What terms are we on now? I eat dinner at your house every night.
This is true.
That's true. Let's see, out of 10, how awkward is this? 1. Nice. Would you live with me again? 1,000. Yay! Where were you ever in a video of mine? Yes. Describe your experience. LMAO. Probably easiest one to film ever was wisdom teeth, and it was funny because we were on meds and acted like fools.
I don't know why it corrected to Winston teeth. It should say Winston teeth.
Winston?
Not Winston teeth.
Anything else you'd like to say to my YouTube viewers?
Do you like my hair?
Classic one.
Classic.
Maddie. Maddie Garcia, who's
We love
married
Maddie.
now. He was my roommate from 2020 to 2021. Where did we live? We called it the Villa, hence Love Island reference. AKA a really cute white house with 4 bedrooms, spacious kitchen, great yard, and weirdly close to a huge graveyard. Also next door to some highly aggressive cats.
They all interconnect. Those are the same cats that gave us
Same
framework.
cats. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much did you enjoy living with me? She said a 10.
Oh, man.
You said you were going to Utah and you were going to be one of the best roommates I'd ever had, and I didn't know when you'd come back to Texas.
Aw.
Well, I've come back and we've now hung out many times.
We're both.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how messy was I? A 7.
That
See,
seems to be your
that's a
average.
solid 7.
Like a 6 or 7 is your
I'll
average.
take it. What's the weirdest thing of mine that I kept? Probably the ice machine. I had no idea that there was ice nicer than the fridge dispenser, and I didn't know how the machine worked. What's the funniest story of us living together? I feel like that's hard to narrow down. Maybe when my tire popped and completely deflated at Andy's and the Airbnb trip to Cisco, when the summer sales guys came and the roof spilled in, or the lockdown when we shampooed our hair in the rain and airplayed to the TV her Tinder dates.
She's married now.
She's married! What terms are we on? I say we're on pretty good terms, even though I suck at responding to messages.
It's okay, me too. Me too.
True that. On a scale of 1 to 10, how awkward is this? A 1. I was a bridesmaid in her wedding like 2 weeks ago,
Like,
so I'd say
literally
that's
2
pretty good
weeks
terms. Would you live with me again? 1,000% yes! Yay!
I love you, Maddie. We love you,
Love it. And then last but not least, Dakota. My current roommate and husband. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much did you enjoy
Oh, I
living
thought
with
for
me?
a second I read that wrong and it was like a 7 and I was like, oh, this is about to go down.
No, he put 10. Of course, I'm his wife.
He put an 8 on the messy scale. I told you.
Probably because he cleans up my messes when I'm home sometimes. He said I'm an 8 on messy. What's the weirdest thing of mine I've kept us? You saw 6. Thank you once again for exposing me.
That is so funny.
That is so funny.
Can you fault me?
Can you blame her?
Can you fault
You
me?
really can. You really can.
What's the funniest story of us living together? How many eye contacts I can find on my body?
Brooklyn likes to take her contacts out and just throw them in the vicinity, and wherever they land, they land. Everyone in the office knows it's her computer charger because there are like 4 crusted contacts on the charger.
I don't take them off because then I know it's my charger because everyone takes everyone's chargers. What terms are we on now? Married. Amen.
Descriptive.
How awkward is this? 10, I'm cringing. I don't think he
Dakota.
understood the question.
Dakota.
I think he meant to put it 1. In the doctor's office, I had to explain to him how it was a ranking system and that he had to read the scales.
ends and
he
understand the mix.
wasn't reading the scales. So I'm assuming he meant to put a 1. Would you live with me again? 1,000% yes, I'm in love with you.
Oh, he's gonna live with you for the rest of
Were
his
you
life.
ever in a video of mine? Yes. Describe your experience
He put on a dress for TikTok.
putting on a dress for TikTok.
Anything you'd like to say to my YouTube viewers? Rate me? Like 1 out of 10? Like, I don't understand.
I know. Dakota?
Can you explain?
What does this mean?
What did you mean? Rate you. Rate me. With a wink.
What does that mean? Like I rate you?
Yeah, for me being your roommate.
Oh!
I was like, what is he asking?
I'm rating you, you gotta rate me.
A 10!
Okay.
10 out of 10! 10 out of 10. Okay, so obviously those are all the answers of all of your roommates. You guys got some share tips.
got some tea, got to hear their thoughts. But honestly, lesson really is living with people is hard, and you can be friends and not be compatible. You can be not friends and be compatible living and all sorts of things. But all in all, you're a pretty good roommate. I'd say your average is like a 9 out of 10.
Yay! Woo!
Pretty good roommate. Woo! All right, leave your roommate experiences in the comments, and we'll see y'all next week. Bye guys.
Bye, y'all.